Okay, Harry, this is Lord Potato. Your boy is your potato here. Yes, it's Lord Potato here. Well, I can't move, whatever. But this is part 4 of this what if Asta was Blackbeard? What's it called? It hasn't been a month. It has only been like 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm still fine. No month, no recap, no nothing. Now that I realize I haven't really done that many what ifs in my first channel. I've mostly been on my second channel for a while, but yeah. I already hit 400 subscribers on my second channel, and I should probably continue to go on my first channel. So I'm just gonna be uploading random, well, not random, yeah, I'm gonna be uploading at random, not going to keep going on a pace of like uploading every day on this like first channel, on my main channel. But when I get actually the motivation to actually keep uploading and not get too lazy, then yeah. I'm also wanting to upload a new Bleach, well, yeah, not a new Bleach, a new Ichigo what if, mostly a what if that I actually thought of. The problem is, I have 2 of them, and I just going to need to keep watching Bleach because, well, yeah, that or I'll just, yeah, never mind. But don't worry, I'm going to, yeah, after that, but yeah, I'm gonna try to finish all the Asta and Naruto what ifs, since those are the what ifs, mostly the anime that I have seen. Naruto and Asta, or mostly Naruto and Black Clover. Usually what ifs are also going to be try to finish unless the anime comes in so I can watch season 2, because I don't remember what happened in the manga. All I remember is the city, but I don't remember the city's name, and I don't really care that much. But of course, what else? What if should I be finishing? I'm trying to think. Wait. Oh yeah, Barto and Luffy what ifs are actually going to be kind of not discontinued, just keep being paused because I haven't really watched Barto. I might just fucking read the manga. I don't remember how many chapters are in the manga, but for One Piece it's too damn long, and I gotta read the manga and I gotta watch the anime. Or should I just watch the anime and then go read the manga? Blah blah blah. Mostly I'm kind of reading the manga, then yeah. But not the point. Let me get into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. No recaps, and yeah. So last time was mostly during the whole snowman kidnap kids with, well, mostly Asta getting there. So we go into that situation. Oh, wait. So yeah, let me begin. It says, what if, yeah. Now, of course, we go into Asta. Asta is seeing how most of the kids are just older, and of course, where, well, the 2 people that he managed to stuck with, mostly darkness chance grabbing them, they are trying to get out. Now, of course, they're mostly knocked the fuck out, but yeah. Now, we go into mostly Asta trying to get all the kids out, which he does, but this is where someone actually tried to attack him. Mostly a girl with kind of glasses, and of course having this, well, mostly axolotl kind of creature summoning made out of jello. Now, of course, tried to attack Asta, but Asta just said, "Yummy, yummy, no me. Darkness nullify dome." This is where, well, he nullifies the giant axolotl, which makes the girl kind of pout. But this is where she gets so interested in Asta. Now, this is Sally. Sally did try to, well, mostly, like, I did skip a few arcs before. I did skip the, what's it called, dungeon arc and also the kingdom arc. Because, well, mostly Asta wasn't really in it. He wasn't the one to go to the dungeon. It was mostly Yuno and some of the Golden Dawn, with also Blue Rose. But yeah, not Asta. Asta didn't really give a damn because he was doing something else, like another mission, and mostly training Noelle and her magic. Now, of course, going to the kingdom, he wasn't there because, yeah, he was still training Noelle's magic. So, of course, Noelle never did kind of like got gaslighted by her kind of brothers, or mostly, yeah, her brothers and siblings, but, or mostly her brother and her sister, but yeah. But, of course, well, she was just mostly training, but yeah. So, of course, this is the first time ever meeting Sally, but yeah, right in front of him. Sally was kind of having this, like, very hearts in her eyes after seeing Asta, because he seems to be really kind of good looking, but at the same time having this kind of look of very pissed off look, because he didn't like most of the kids getting like literally kidnapped from this home and then getting attacked by some crazy creepy lady. This is where Sally says, "Oh my gosh, your magic's so cool. I need to test on you. I need to experiment on you." This is where, well, Asta says, "Can you please shut the fuck up for a second? God, you're actually more annoying than I actually thought. You remind me of someone." This is where, well, Blackbeard kind of gets reminded of, what's it called? Dr. or Steampunk or whatever? Or Vegapunk. Yeah, Dr. Vegapunk. I don't know why I say Steampunk, but yeah, Vegapunk. This is where, well, he then just stopped thinking about it and then goes against Sally. Sally makes another magic, mostly axolotl, to try to attack Asta, but this is where Asta manages to nullify the magic and then uses earthquake bubble to just smash through it and destroy it, just explode it. Thanks to the rumbling, but yeah, mostly rumbling attack. This is where, well, he then keeps fighting in Sally, which Sally is trying to see more magics of what Asta can do. It seems he has two magic attributes, one being earthquake and one being darkness, which seems broken to her. This is where, Asta managed to appear right in front of her and right now punching her in the face, right now sending her into a wall. Yeah, Asta didn't care. This is where, well, Asta lands down, and this is where, well, Asta says, "Are you gonna give up any damn time soon?" This is where Sally was at the wall. Of course, she's knocked out. And this is where, well, Asta was about to get attacked by this light spear behind him, but this is where he says nullification. This is where he nullifies the light spear before even hitting him. It just disappears in an instant. This is where, well, someone appears right now behind him. This is where when he looks behind him, he sees someone with a portal, a dark portal, and of course, someone with this kind of angry look at Asta. This is where it's none other than poetry and what's called that one dude. I don't remember his name. I never remember his name. And I don't care. This is where, he has a very angry look saying, "You heard it. You hurted her. You should die." This is where, he sends light spear strike towards Asta, which Asta just smacks him all away in an instant. His hand wasn't coated with anything, he just like smacked him away, realizing the magic is so pathetic for him. This is where, the elf is right now angry and of course right now launching more light spears at, Asta. Asta dodges pretty easily. He keeps seeing them and of course it's like he's seeing into the future, which he's using observation hacking. So of course he's dodging pretty easily. And of course where, poetry says, "Damn it, just die." This is where, someone actually, someone actually appears. Well, not someone actually appears. It's mostly, what am I thinking? Someone actually does appear right in front of him. It's mostly the same dude that has that portal magic trying to grab Asta and trying to attack him with magic. But this is where, before I even touch Asta, Asta smashes an earthquake punch into the dome, knocking his ass out. Poetry gets angrier and right now launches more light spears at, Asta. Asta is right now dodging so easily, like, this shit ain't hurting him, it's not even hitting him at all. Until, this is where he's right now trying to get up. This is where he makes 3 magic portals appear behind Asta, which someone rushes out and appearing to be like some kind of beast creature, rushing at Asta saying, "Die! I'll make you feel despair." This is where, Asta says, "And I'll make you feel blackout." This is where, Asta appears with an earthquake punch. And this time the earthquake punch itself was much bigger. And when he domes mostly, I forgot his name. Vega or something? I think his name, I don't remember. Mostly that one to feel despair or whatever. Trying to make you feel despair. Gets punched in the face so hard. Right now crushing everything in his face. Launching it down to the ground. This is where, a fireball tries to hit him. But this is where he nullified the magic. Which someone tries to touch him. When he tries to touch, mostly Asta. He then felt this weird energy kind of go through his body. Which he feels like he was falling down. Like he didn't have the will for a second. It's mostly the copy guy. And of course the fireball, mostly Fire Girl. I forgot her name, but yeah. Fauna. Fauna tries to attack him, and of course the guy in front of him copy. The guy tries to copy his magic, which he felt like something smashed upon him and made him kind of fall down to the ground. This is where Asta got the perfect chance to just stomp his head into the ground. And this is where, Fauna then tries to attack him, saying, "You dare to hurt my friend." This is where, well, Asta says, "Gravity pull." This is where, well, he was using mostly his darkness magic in his hand to just nullify all the magic attacks from her. But this time he just used gravity pull, which pulled her in, and of course then just smashes his whole hand, mostly his arm into her face, right now knocking her out. The salamander tried to attack him, but this is where he uses darkness mostly circle underneath from the salamander just to nullify him all the way down to becoming smaller, and actually just becomes an amber. This is where, well, mostly poetry is seeing how he defeated mostly 3 of his elf friends, or mostly the reincarnated elves. And this is where he then starts launching multiple light spears at Asta because he can see Asta as a threat. Asta sees this, and this is where, well, he only glances once at poetry, and this is where, well, all the magic circles, or mostly not magic circles, all the magic light spears literally just disappear. Mostly they all just turn to nothing. They seem to just be nullified in an instant. This is where, well, poetry was wondering what the hell just happened. But this is where, well, poetry thinks that mostly Asta's a noble, because this person seems to be way stronger than just a normal peasant, commoner, anything. His magic seems to be completely different from normal. This is where, well, Asta then actually pulls out his grimoire for the first time. For the first time in actually using it. He hasn't actually used it at all. This is where he looks through all the magic spells, and this is where there's one that he actually kind of grins. This is where, well, he then says, "Darkness style. Yummy, yummy, no me." He then says, "Darkness spears," or mostly darkness mostly God-killing spear. This is where a giant darkness spear that seems to take shape into a weapon, and actually instead of just being a kind of stick with a pointed thing on top, it's actually a spear, mostly a staff. And of course, instead of having a pointed thing, it's actually more shaped into be like, think of Harley Quinn's from Seven Deadly Sins, true spear when he kind of activates it into, what's it called, that golden spear. Think of it like that. But this spear is just black most of the time. This is where, well, Asta then launches his strike towards poetry. Poetry sends multiple light spears, but of course none of them can actually even just block or stop, what's it called, the darkness spear from actually getting near him. This is where it actually stab poetry, and poetry go, "Damn you, human." This is where he falls down to the ground in an instant. Asta says, quite pathetic indeed." This is where, well, poetry couldn't get up anymore. He felt his magic. He just felt his entire body being nullified in an instant. This is where, oh, Asta right now puts the grimoire away, puts in his mostly the pouch, and of course never to touch it again until a serious battle decides to come up. But he won't touch it again until then. Right now he just walks away from this entire battlefield. Pretty much he just whooped the shit out of the Eye of the Midnight. Entirely everyone. He doesn't care. He could have played dirty, which he did. He played extremely dirty. He smashed what's it called, a copy guy's head into the ground without a care in the world. Punches the guy even harder, that one guy that was a beast user, with such a powerful earthquake bubble that would have definitely knocked someone out for 9 months, but yeah. And of course managed to nullify the salamander, but yeah. But of course, this is where, well, he's walking away and says, quite pathetic indeed. This is where, well, they just got their ass whooped. But yeah, we go into Asta and the children kind of being outside. Now, of course, where, well, most of the children are actually going through the snow. But of course, where, well, they had like these lanterns with them, mostly fire lanterns. And of course, they were kind of trying to get back to the, what's it called, place. But of course, they were, well, someone flied above them with a broom, and this is where he says, "Nullified dome," mostly environment dome. This is where, well, mostly he says, "Darkness dome, environment nullification." This is where, well, this darkness dome actually appears around all the kids, and this is where they're actually not freezing no more. But yeah, actually the heat inside it, mostly the lanterns are actually heating them up. But yeah, this is where, well, most of them are walking. But yeah, this is where, well, Asta is using the darkness dome to actually notify, well, what's it called? Mostly any of the environment, cold or any of it. Even though the environment isn't with magic. But in this whole world, it's actually magic entirely. So even though you might think that a place that just snows and other things is not created with magic, every single thing in this whole world, even though it might not be living or anything, still has magic. So of course, this is where, well, he's nullifying the magic itself, making the snow not be able to freeze or make any of the children cold. This is where, well, multiple, like, family members and other people are right now scared, right now wondering where their children are at. This is where Rebecca is kind of horrified because, well, she can't find Asa and she can't find, well, the children. But yeah, this is where, well, Noelle, Junko, and what's it called, mostly, Uda, are kind of looking around because they're trying to find Asta, mostly around the village because they don't know where Asta went. But of course, half the children are also scared. This is where, well, mostly Ghost is quite angry at mostly the nun, and because, well, mostly she lost, what's it called, his sister. But yeah, this is where, well, Mary, this is where, well, Ghost is kind of wanting to punch the nun in the face for the fact that she lost Mary. But yeah, until they hear a bunch of, like, commotion of, like, kids managing to come into the town. And this is where they notice the darkness dome, which it disappeared after a while. But it was pretty dark, so no one can actually see it. And this is where multiple children rushes up to their parents, even Mary rushing up to, what's it called, the nun to protect her from, mostly, Ghost's rage. But yeah, this is where Ghost says, Mary, what happened to you? This is where, well, mostly a bunch of people are confused on what happened. But this is where, well, someone literally falls down from the sky. And of course, it was two people. One older looking person with glasses. And of course, another one with kind of whitish hair. And of course, well, has his eyes closed. Both of them have their eyes closed because they were knocked the fuck out. And of course, this is where, well, it was none other than Asta to knock them out, which he's up in the air, literally just flying. And this is where, well, everyone is trying to thank Asta, which Asta doesn't really care. But of course, he went down to see mostly Rebecca and her kind of siblings. And this is where Asta says, are you guys okay? This is where Rebecca just couldn't resist herself, and she just jumped onto Asta's arms and thanked him so much. This is where, well, she wanted to thank him so much more, but this is where she didn't really know how to do that. But yeah, this is where, well, I also say, yeah, I noticed the kids kind of being taken control of with a mind skip. I just needed to know and where exactly they were taking them. But yeah, but don't worry, I knocked them out and just get the kids back. This is where, well, she nodded, and this is where, well, she just thanks Asa so much, just hugging him. This is where, well, she can feel the muscles that he has. And of course, where, well, Asta is saying, yeah, can you, that's where, well, he kind of feels something kind of like well, not even poking him, mostly someone like poking him in the head. And this is where, well, he looks up and it's none other than the kids, and this is where they're kind of smiling at Asta. And this is where they kind of say, so, what's it called, mostly big brother, Asta, are you gonna go out with our sister one day? This is where, well, Noelle, Junko, and Una, or not Uni, Unta? Yeah, Unta kind of heard this because they're on top of a building right now, using the broom. And when they hear this, they're right now, their faces, right now, their eyes widen in an instant. Out of, well, surprise for the kids even asking that, wondering what Asta's going to say, and jealousy because they want to go out. This is where, well, Asta thinks about it and says, get back to me when I actually wake up from this nap. Bye. This is where Asta falls asleep, but yeah. This is where, well, the kids are surprised that he avoided that question very fast, but yeah. Because Asta is still pretty damn tired. He did use a lot of magic, I should mention. On using that goddess killing spear, it did take him a lot of magic. And using a dome magic to literally kind of protect the kids from the environment was also pretty much a lot. So, of course, with all that tirement, he was already tired. So, of course, he just fell asleep. There and there. Of course, is where a ghost appears saying, You touched my sister, you bastard! This is where, well, Asta felt like he's getting annoyed. Even though he's asleep, he already had an earthquake punch, which he knocked the hell out of Gosh, and then fell back asleep. But yeah. Asta says, shut the fuck up. Yeah, but he didn't, because he just said, shut up. This is where, well, Asta is kind of like going mostly to sleep. But yeah, this is where the next day happens. This is where Asta is in his bed, mostly the bed of where Virgil Cannon he would have slept at. But yeah. So of course, this is where, well, Asta kind of, oh well, sorry. This is where Asta wakes up the next day. And of course, this is where, well, he then gets up and gets ready. Well, couldn't really get up because there was actually 4 people sleeping on him. But yeah. So yeah, there was actually, there was, well, 4 people sleeping on him. And this is where, when he tries to get up, he kind of noticed who were the 4 people sleeping on him. One girl had kind of whitish hair and, of course, had them into, mostly, not 2 ponytails. Mostly, she had both of her hairs, or mostly, usually 2 ponytails, into just having long white hair. Long silverish white hair. This is where another girl with kind of reddish long hair. This is where another person with having both, mostly, usually would have, what's it called? Some of her hair into somewhat of a ponytail. But for right now, she kind of had it into just straight long hair. So, of course, white and red. And, of course, the last one kind of having palish, blondish, rosé hair. And, of course, having it just straight down also. This is where, well, their hairs were kind of just covering each other's hairs. But, yeah, or mostly heads. And this is where, well, they were mostly sleeping on top of him. This is where, well, Asta couldn't know what to do. But, of course, he kind of had a little small tint of blush in his face. But he tried to just shake it off until mostly someone's eyes opened first. And this is where, well, it was none other than, what's it called? Well, Noelle. Noelle says, good morning, Asta. This is where, well, she didn't know what she was saying, but this is where, well, she said it very quietly and very cutely for an Asta's opinion. But this is where, well, she was still sleepy and tired. And this is where she gets up. Was kind of startling the other 3, and this is where, well, her pinkish eyes, kind of near her, well, mostly her pinkish eyes, sees Asta's kind of like greenish eyes. But yeah, we'll see, yeah, greenish eyes. This is where, well, the others started waking up. This is where, well, Rebecca's eyes seems to have like these, well, mostly navy blue eyes. Right now, Uta's eyes are purplish, and this is where, well, Chico's eyes are kind of a palish bluish color. And this is where, well, mostly palish, dullish blue color. And this is where, when they open their eyes, they notice what they were doing, and they all kind of get up in an instant. This is where, well, except for Rebecca, mostly Noelle, they were still very tired. This is where Uta just realized what she was doing. And, of course, having a red, mostly, it looks like her hair is covering up her face, but mostly she's all red. And this is where, well, mostly one of her sides of her hair. And this is where Junko also realized what she was kind of doing. And of course, her face was all like red. This is where Rebecca and also Noelle. Sorry. This is where, well, Rebecca and Noelle kind of realized what they were doing. And when they get up, realize that Asta is just looking at them with this confused look. And this is where, well, both of them just becomes red. And of course, most of the shade of Rebecca's hair. But yeah. This is where Asta just looks at them with a confused look. And kind of just gets up, and this is where Elsa says, well, I'm gonna just go outside. I'll be going back to the Black Bull hideouts, okay? This is where, well, Elsa just asked them and just, well, mostly told them, but yeah. This is where, well, they nod slowly, and this is where, well, Elsa just goes outside and just, like, gets on his broom. Wait. Gets on his broom and just, like, flies away. He gets back to the kind of Black Bull hideout and tells the car, mostly his leader, Yami, about mostly the kind of incident that he kind of fought against. Mostly these people that were maybe connected towards the attack of, what's it called? The Royal Capital Knight Squad, like last time. This is where Yami gets the information, and of course it tells, well, mostly the kids to just go ahead and have fun. I'll tell Julius about this. Just where, well, Also nodded, but this is where, well, also doesn't really have fun that much. Instead, he wants to just train on his magic. Because, well, he really never did train with the grimoire. He mostly just trained with the magic he was born with. And that was just mostly the creative thought. Mostly his grimoire just helps him in just the creation, the idea of what to do. But mostly, he just uses either the Quake Bubble or the Darkness ability that he always created when he was younger. He can pull people, he can use it to nullify their magic in an instant. He just never had a very creative idea in how to make it into like actual physical things. But yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly a time skip. Of course, this is where, well, half the girls, mostly all four of the girls, were actually talking, and this is where they kind of agree and not to ever do something like this again. Yeah, but of course it was quite warm. But this is where they kind of just shaking their heads. Maybe it was just Asta using magic, but realized none of them do have what's it called fire magic. Even Asta's darkness and what's it called bubble magic, mostly earthquake magic, is not fire at all, which just confused him. But whatever. This is where we go into mostly a time skip of Asta kind of taking on a mission. Now, he kind of goes to take on some of the missions. Now, some of them are quite dangerous, but he goes on it because, yeah, he doesn't really care. He needs to train, and the best way to train is in battle. So, yeah, he's right now taking out some bandits and easily taking them out. Right now, using his bubble magic to knock them the fuck out. But, yeah. This is where also he kind of just uses his hands to kind of fight, but yeah, because he realized half of this bandits and some of the magician magic users are kind of mostly using depending on their magic, never on their fists, which he has a great advantage because you see here, he's quite muscular because he does train in his body, but also he's quite powerful on his punches most of the time, but yeah. So, of course, that's why he always goes melee range and knock them out. But, yeah. Some of them might use their swords, but, of course, they're not as good as him just using his claws. But, yeah. Just scratch them and kill them pretty easily. But, yeah. So, he's getting actually points for the Black Bulls. He just doesn't know about the star points. So, of course, he's just taking on missions because it helps him out with the money problem. It helps him out with his just training and getting better in just either physical stats or his magic stats and creation, more creative ideas, because he remembers what a person that mostly laughed in the battle of mostly this is where, well, he just remembers someone just laughing a lot and mostly in a battle that he was fighting against, had a big smile, and of course using his best of his devil fruit as the best he can against Blackbeard, going to use Gumma Gumma pistol, bullets, Galagun, third gear, what's it called, giant fist, or mostly giant pistol or whatever, but you get the point. This is where, well, he's thinking of that one person. He's trying to remember his name. Lucy? No, Luffy. Yes, Luffy. He remembers Luffy's name, and of course, where, well, he then thinks of how his devil fruit was very creative. Even though it was an awakening at the perfect powerful, because his true power was none other than the sun god Nika, but of course mostly Joy Boy. But of course is where, well, he didn't care. He realized that even with someone like him that wasn't that smart, he kind of realized, but still, he was quite powerful because of his creative ideas, his imagination. That's why Blackbeard's actually trying to do, or mostly Asta is trying to just imagine his, what's it called, magic into either a physical weapon or whatever. But yeah, mostly think of it of like, what's it called, mostly poetry's magic and how he was using light spears or even light swords or trying to stab in general, or just light bullets, which he managed to just dodge most of the time. But yeah, but of course to where, well, he's trying to also train on his hockey. But this is where, well, not really hawking itself. He just always thought of this weird ability. It was called hawking most of the time. But yeah, he's trying to train on that. He's trying to figure out how the hell can he even do what's it called, knocking out people with just one look. Because the problem here is Asta, even though he is like Blackbeard, he's like Blackbeard entirely, but he's like the reincarnation of Blackbeard, but at the same time he's not entirely evil. Just mostly getting few memories that he kind of just lost. But yeah, throughout mostly his life, or not really throughout his life, mostly just remembering stuff throughout his life as Blackbeard. But yeah, does it work well? He was also pretty good at actually finding out people that were lying or not lying. But yeah, he did kind of take on some missions of detectiving, because he could actually find someone who was lying so fucking quick and catch their ass in an instant. But yeah, because you see here, Blackbeard, he was a, what's it called, mostly a pirate, mostly pirate captain, and he lied his entire life just to get stuff. So he basically is a professional liar at the same time as spotting those lying motherfuckers at the time. So yeah. So of course, where Asta kind of goes on to take more missions, but yeah, this is where, well, he goes on to kind of take on a mission that was actually supposed to get rid of some vampires, or mostly another species. Mostly there's multiple species. He kind of realized there's dwarves, elves, what's it called, mostly witches, and there's other kind of species. But the species that he's going against right now is a quite difficult species because their magic reserves are pretty large. The reason why is because they consume human, mostly blood, but also take their magic away, mostly their mana. But of course, well, they have palish skin and of course reddish eyes, silverish hair most of the time. Well, mostly they're royal nobles or whatever. But of course, well, they kind of also have pointy ears, similar to that of like an elf, but they're not elves. They're actually a type of different being entirely. They're close to almost related to elves, but not really. They're actually called vampires. Now, of course, when Asta heard about this, he was like, huh, I'll be taking out vampires? Damn. Basically, my darkness magic is their biggest, not biggest weakness, it's actually their strongest attack. I don't really have any sun magic. This is where, well, when he gets there, he kind of did bring some like fire torches and other stuff, but yeah. And, well, he didn't realize what kind of vampires he was going against. There's two different types of vampires. There's the Night Walkers, which mostly these Night Walkers are those that are not the royal bloodline of the vampires. And, of course, mostly they can easily be taken out of the, what's it called, picture if they're in the sun. They just become extremely weak and then burn in an instant and then disappear and turn to dust. But yeah. But there's also other ones that are called Morning Walkers, which are actually royalty blood members from an actual descendant from the actual, like, true vampire king. Now, of course, these Morning Walkers are not weak against the sun. They actually can just sit on the sun and be fine. And they can just sit for hours. They can also kind of look like humans if they kind of just use their magic to shapeshift. But yeah. This will work. Oh. Also didn't know which one he was going against, but he didn't care. If he fight against these vampires, well, not really killing them, because in the thing it really didn't say kill them. It just said, get this artifact, and that's all. Now this artifact isn't as strong, which he kind of read upon it because he didn't really want to just take some random artifact that was, might have caused a lot of destruction. But yeah, mostly who asked for it wasn't actually a noble, it was actually a commoner. But of course, well, he looks at the artifact, and the artifact was not that powerful. You can actually just find it in a regular, mostly in a mine shaft. But it was this gem, this red gem, that had a little kind of crescent on it. Mostly like the symbol on it. Which he doesn't know what that symbol says because he's not a fucking vampire and he can't fucking read. Now, he doesn't even know if this fucking person that he took the mission for was even human at the same time. For all he knows, it probably was a vampire. Probably a Morning Walker trying to ask a magic, mostly someone that was pretty strong in magic and mostly being a human, to go against the vampires and dampen, just take the gem. He doesn't know, but he doesn't care. So of course he goes to kind of go to the place where mostly the vampires will be at. They're inside a cave. But if you keep going down the cave, which Asta is going down the cave, he kind of managed to explore a cavern. Now, this cavern wasn't small. It was extremely big. It was this huge cavern with a huge city underneath. Or mostly on, well, inside of it. This just big ass city. There were skyscrapers, mostly not that big that will actually go above ground, but they were just big enough. And of course, where he felt so much magic signatures inside it. This is where, well, Asta didn't just cloak himself in black magic, or mostly not black magic, his darkness magic, just so he won't be discovered by the vampires too easily. So yeah, this is where, oh, he's walking around, kind of looking around. This is where he sees a lot of people with palish skin. Now, palish skin, but some people actually have kind of tan skin and other things. He thinks that all of these people are actually vampires, which he's not wrong, but they're not all entirely out of vampires. Because you see here, he kind of realized something. When he looks to the side of himself, he kind of saw someone with kind of fur. Well, mostly having fur and other things. And of course, having tan skin. This is where he kind of had brown fur and kind of had eyes kind of similar to that of a wolf, which he was a werewolf. And of course, seems the vampires weren't actually attacking him. Which he seems confused. Because he thought that vampires and werewolves were mostly the arch enemies. Because mostly read all about this in a book of the human knowledge. He never actually read of that, of like the other species knowledge. But yeah, this is where he decides to go to a library in this fucking place. He doesn't know if this place actually has a library where he can actually read it entirely. But yeah. But this is where he sees other species like witches, dwarves, even, what's it called? Not that many elves, but there's some elves. But they're not the elves from like Clover. They're actually ice elves that are actually from Spade. This is where, well, there's actually a bunch of like species. Yeah, this is where, well, I'm still just seeing this and just surprised. This is where, well, he kind of walks past, well, mostly this, mostly female, female with kind of ears, similar to that like a werewolf. But of course having tails, and she doesn't just have one tail like a werewolf. She has 9 in total. This is where, well, also says, what the fuck is that? Is that some kind of kitsune? This is where he thinks of his, like, crew members. Well, see, he then thought of his crew members mostly from his Blackbeard kind of mindset. And he remembers that one crew member that ate a devil fruit that was similar to that of a kitsune. This is where, well, also says, what the fuck? Devil fruits are real? Well, he doesn't think devil fruits are real in this world. But this is where, well, he just can't remember what the fuck it was called. Kitsune? Nine Tails? I think it was somewhere like that. But of course, the Ninetales did turn around to kind of see Asta. Now, Asta is wearing this black cloak that seems to kind of just like darkness, or well, mostly a darkness effect kind of flows from the hood. Mostly this cloak, which not many people question because there's other like witches or mostly vampires that have different auras or mostly effects towards or kind of mostly what they wear. But yeah. But of course, this darkness one actually doesn't like nullify. Well, mostly it nullifies the magic that Asta kind of has. This is where Asta is walking, and this is where, well, he kind of noticed the Ninetales is staring at him. This is where, oh, Asta turns around, and of course, where, well, he tries to just change his eye color a little bit with his magic to kind of be somewhere like that, like having. He then tries to think of something like what kind of eye things, because if he just turns around and his eyes are those of like a plain human, they might just question it, because some of the eyes that, what's it called, he kind of manages to look or kind of glance towards any of the other species. Werewolves kind of have them slick. Vampires also have them kind of also slick. Very thin slick, but yeah. Dwarves have them kind of bigger a little bit. Witches do also have eyes similar to that of just a normal human, but he doesn't want to actually be counted as a witch because, well, a witch is, well, mostly all the witches are mostly females. So yeah. So this word, well, he changes his eye pattern to that be just of a cross. He mostly kind of just changes it towards like this. Mostly in his original canon, Black Asta, mostly Devil Union. That's what it would look like. So yeah, it looks similar to this. But his eyes are green, so of course it has a cross. Well, mostly he then changes just kind of blue, but yeah. He then looks at the kitsune, and the kitsune narrow her eyes at his eyes, because she never does see a species with those kind of cross eyes. But this is where, well, she wasn't really going to question, so of course she just walks away. She was only questioning Asta's existence from the fact that she couldn't feel his magic entirely. It could be the black cloak that might be nullifying it, or whatever. Then again, she just walks away. But yeah, she's not actually from this kind of like country entirely. She's not from what's it called, the four great kingdoms. She's actually from what's it called, the land of sun. But yeah, she's just right now visiting this place. But yeah, that's where Asta's looking around. This is where he has a little picture crusted something. And this is where, not something, mostly he's looking for this picture. Well, mostly the picture that he got reminded about, and mostly thinking about where it will be at. He's looking around. He then looks at mostly some of the shops that has some of the gems, or mostly gems and other stuff. And he's looking around, and this is where he sees a gem that has the same kind of red color, the same shape, and it has the same crest. Now, of course, where he picks it up, and of course, since its darkness kind of nullifies the magic, it seems to not really affect him and whatever effect it would have done to him. But of course, he's just seeing it very up close, and this is where, the person in front of him kind of says it will be this much. Mostly, it will be like 500, mostly, it kind of does have the same currency as what's it called, the humans. So yeah, and they do speak the same language as humans, because mostly everyone should probably knows about the language of the humans, either that being of what's it called, the four nations, four kingdoms, or even that the land of sun. But of course, this vampire, we're just guessing that this person knows human language. If not, then he would go on with other languages. But yeah, this is where also sees that it's not that expensive. This is where he doesn't know if this is the right gem or not. But this is where he decides to buy it anyway. It wasn't even 500, it was like 50 golden, not 50 golden coins, it was like 25 golden coins. It wasn't as expensive because, Asta has a lot of golden coins, since he has beat the shit out of so many bandits, took their shit, half of it, but then also kind of like left a little bit, so he doesn't look like he took in everything. But yeah, this is where he gives the golden coins towards the person. Now, of course, the black cloak is seen to be covering up his hand, so of course he just drops the golden coins into this person's palm. And this is where, the vampire nodded. Thank you for doing business with you, sir. That's where I also nodded. And of course, this is where also takes the kind of red magic stone, and of course puts it in his pocket. And since his whole jacket is made out of what's it called, this black nullification, mostly magic, not really many people can really sense the red stone magic or whatever. This is where, someone actually rushes up to the store, mostly rushing past Asta. There was two people rushing past him, and of course one with pinkish hair and kind of having like an elf look-alike, mostly seems to kind of be probably a fire elf or something. And Asta's head, he tries to think about it. And someone else that kind of has like this silverish long hair, reddish slick eyes, and of course, this is where she does have like red silk eyes, and of course this is where her skin is pretty pale. Even the other person was pretty pale, but of course this is where she kind of had her ears similar to that of like either an elf or a vampire. Mostly her pale skin shows to probably be a vampire, and her silver hair. This is where she probably was actually royalty or something. And this is where, the vampire kind of asked the person if the person has seen the stone. This red kind of stone, like it was red, the magic would have like sent out this like kind of bloodish magic color. And of course, where it had like an aura of bloodish magic, but of course, where it had a crescent on it. This is where, Asta's hearing this, but this is where Asta's walking away, like walking further away. This is where the person says, yes, I had it, but I sold it. Someone kind of says that he paid 25. This is where the girl says, what? Where did he go? It's the guy with the black cloak. I think you can sense him, but I couldn't really sense his magic that much. Damn it! This is where, the girl looks behind her and says, Kin, can you help me? This is where, most of the now known girl, Kin, says, yeah, I know. I'm trying to contact, what's it called? This is where, Kin seems to try to contact someone with the magic circle or something, and try to contact someone named Akaiji. This is where, someone answers and says, yes, you need something, Kina. This is where Kina says, problem is, what's it called? Have you seen someone with the black cloak? I have. Why? Well, we need to find him. He kind of mostly bought a gem that's mostly Allison needs. This is where, well, Allison on the other side, mostly the silver hair girl, ask for anyone else that they have seen him. This is where people have seen him, but of course they haven't really sensed his magic and can't really detect it. But of course his eyes are kind of cross and blue. They're kind of blue and have a cross in it, a cross eye. But of course they never wonder what kind of species it exactly is, because they never have seen a species like him. This is where Asta is walking out, to just like get away. Some people are kind of seeing him, but pretty much they haven't understand the situation and what is happening. It seems the royal vampire is trying to get that gem from Asta, but Asta is just having this gem because, well, he needs it. That's where, well, he needs it for a mission. Asta managed to find the exit, mostly the cave exit, and this is where Asta decides to jump up, and of course managed to land up there. And this is where Asta, he's actually exiting out of the cave. Now, of course, this is the same cave that anyone can enter through, but yeah. And this is where, well, someone noticed him kind of going through the cave and actually leaving. And this is where, well, someone managed to contact someone because someone did ask him to kind of look around. Well, not him. It was mostly her also, but yeah. And this is where the person does manage to contact other people. This is where, when Asta managed to get outside, he still has to notify his, what's it called, magic, or mostly dispel the kind of cloak. He took out the gem and just looked at it. This is where he took out a picture and looked at the gem. This is where he's looking at the details and saying, please, for the love of God, tell me this is actually the right fucking gem. I swear to God, if I get trolled and whatever bullshit this is, I'm going to literally fucking die. I need the fucking mission. Well, I don't need it, but I thought I was literally gonna be fighting so many vampires. This is literally just a fucking picked up quest. Fuck. This person better be paying me a lot. I don't know why he needs this gem, or whatever bullshit he needs it for. But luckily it was in the store. I can't believe he couldn't just come here. Maybe he is human. Or maybe he's not. Whatever. This is where he's walking away. He was talking to himself. And this is where 4 people behind him were actually seeing him. This is where 4 of them actually were kind of spying on him because they don't know exactly what kind of species he exactly is. The darkness around him, either that's what's it called, his actual body, which they can't tell if he might be a human because, well, his eyes are different. The cloak seems to be attached to his body because pretty much a person said that his hand was made out of darkness and dropped coins into it. This is where, well, mostly he dropped coins into his palm, but yeah. But of course, where, well, they're thinking what kind of species it exactly is. This is where when Asta managed to get away for a while from mostly like the place. This is where he then turns off his magic in an instant. Right now showing off his body. Now of course well, I didn't really mention what he actually wears. He's right now wearing a kind of black jacket. And of course kind of wearing these blackish dark pants. And this is where, well, he is wearing kind of shoes, but yeah. Well, not a black jacket. He's wearing a black kind of just shirt. And of course, this is where he's wearing the black cloak, mostly that of the Black Bulls. And this is where, well, he's walking away. His ash blonde hair, yes, he does have ash blonde, I should mention. Also still has ash blonde. Just a little bit black highlights, but yeah. This is where, well, he's then thinking, motherfucker better be giving me the shit, and blah, blah, blah. This is where, well, he didn't actually notice that his sensory managed to go off after someone behind him was actually getting closer, which Asta turns around, and this is where Asta says, Darkness Spears. This is where Darkness Spears was launched from Asta in an instant, and this is where, well, they stab into multiple trees, but those trees were only like 4 trees, and this is where he looks up and noticed that 4 people were actually jumping towards him. The same person that he noticed, the same 2 people that he noticed, mostly the pinkish hair and the silverish hair, but of course notice the kind of 9 tails, the kitsune, they're also being. And notice a red-haired girl also, but with bluish eyes. She had this kind of weird, demonic kind of magic signature, which he expected demon. Wait the fuck a minute. This is where he jumps away from them, and of course, this is where they notice that he's actually human. This is where, well, Asta says, why the fuck are you attacking me? I don't, what, huh? Hey? This is where, well, they look at him and saying, so you were actually human. This is where, well, the Nine Tails actually spoke. Also said, yes, but I didn't attack anyone. So leave me alone. This is where, well, mostly all of them noticed that he really didn't attack anyone. Like, not even assassinate anyone. He just walked in there, went to buy something, and he's still holding on with the gem in his fist, mostly in his hand. Now, of course, it's kind of affecting him, which he noticed really quick, and this is where he says darkness notification. This is where darkness actually appears around the gem to notify the magic from actually not affecting him. This is where he grabs the ball, the black ball he's holding it in his right hand, and looks at his palm and realizes that it was affecting him. Like, something was kind of trying to get into his body. But luckily, thanks to his darkness, he managed to notify it. This is where this black ball is actually quite annoying. Mostly the thing that's inside it. But this is where he looks at the four of them, the four females, which they might be from different species entirely, and he kind of gets it right. Because the first one was the silver hair, and she's approached him, mostly having both of her hands unarmed, and of course, well, she asked for the black ball. This is where she named who she is. She says that her name is Allison, and of course, this is where, well, she's a vampire, and, well, she's a royal vampire, and she needs the kind of gem that Asta has. This is where Asta says this. This is where he takes it out, but this is where he's still holding it with the darkness kind of, mostly his hand turned into darkness is grabbing the gem. This is where, well, Allison nodded. This is where, well, Asta says, damn, but I have to do this for a mission. Unless you can give me another gem, puts a crescent symbol on it, and then give it to me so I can just give it to the random person that I need. This is where, well, Allison kind of switched off, seeing that Asta really doesn't have that many truthfully loyalty, whatever bullshit. Because he really doesn't care. He used to be a pirate, mostly in his past life. So yeah, he would try to cheat someone out. This is where, well, Allison then questioned, and who exactly asked for him for this gem anyway? Asta says, I don't fucking have a clue. This is where Asta thinks that the person might have been a vampire or could have been human. He can't really tell. The reason why he couldn't really tell is because, well, he just barely noticed of anything of like the species. At that time, he kind of didn't really pay attention towards his person appearance or any of that, because he had no fucking clue of any of the species. He just read upon it a while ago. He went to a library and went to go look at the species, different species. That's why he can basically know a little bit the vampires, the witches, dwarves, and whatever else there is, and also elves. Just to work, well, the vampire nodded, seeing how this human is quite intelligent, but at the same time, that's smart at the same time. Well, in mostly human standards, mostly he's smarter than normal humans, but in just normal other species standards, he's probably medium. This is where, well, she nodded. This is where, well, she takes out another stone, and this is where, well, she kind of just tries to put the same symbol by, like, coloring it. And this is where putting the same symbol color, and this is where she gives it towards Asta, which Asta gives the gem towards her. But before they do that, something was actually about to attack them in an instant. Which, well, something like a spear was actually about to hit them in an instant. This is where Asta noticed what was happening, and Asta just decides to grab her out of the way, and of course the spear smashes into a stone that was kind of next to them, and of course this is where Allison widened her eyes when Asta was basically on top of her. She was blushing instantly because she can actually feel the muscle that he has, but of course a rock that exploded, but this is where Asta says darkness dome. This is where he blocks any of the rocks from actually hitting him or her, mostly the vampire. And this is where he gets up in an instant, looking towards the side. This is where he sees the same person. A person with dark blue navy hair, mostly navy blue hair. And of course having these dark red eyes, or mostly dark black eyes. Mostly onyx eyes. This is where, well, he has this malicious grin, and of course has this magic book actually appearing. Mostly has what's called a 5-leaf on top of it. Or not even a 5-leaf. It's not even, no, it's not 5-leaf. It's actually, what's it called, having that of a diamond, kind of diamond symbol. Yes, he's from the Diamond Kingdom. And this is where, well, he has a malicious grin. This is where he transforms out of his, well, illusion magic, showing off this dark gray silver. And of course, this is where he has red, crimson red, slick eyes. And this is where, well, he grins at the sight of, well, someone with silver hair. The silver-haired girl named Allison said, Uncle? Damn it! I should have known that you bastard would try to get the gem first. This is where, well, the older man, known as, well, mostly as uncle to her, mostly said, "Oh, Allison, it's been so while. It's been such a long time. How's your mom and dad?" This is where Allison grit her teeth and says, "You killed him, you bastard!" This is where Allison's just in the fucking crossfire, just looking at this shit. And this is where, well, the uncle says, "Yeah, I did." This is where, well, Allison says, "Akbar, you idiot, you bastard, you killed him. Why? Why do you need that gem so much? This, isn't it just a family heirloom?" This is where, well, Alvarin, who just is now known, says, "Huh? Stupid little girl. You stupid little girl still thinks that's just an heirloom, a family heirloom. No, it's not. It's actually quite powerful. The gem can actually grant any wish to anyone that is a descendant, a true descendant of that, well, you know who, Dracula." There's where, well, Allison widened her eyes. Of course, she is a true descendant of Dracula, but of course, where, well, she glares at, well, the older vampire looking. And so the older vampire then looks at us and says, "You idiot. Why will you give the gem back to her? I tell you specifically, get the gem." Asta looks at him and says, "Well, damn. Fuck you too. Do you think I give a damn about you?" This is where, oh, the vampire says, "I'm gonna definitely kill you, human. I'll definitely kill you." Allison says, "I won't let you kill him." This is where, well, mostly the vampire says, "Ooh, you can stop me, but you won't. Because you're slower than me. You're weaker and slower than me." This is where, well, the other species did try to get involved, but this is where African says, "Stay out of my way. Blood Dome." This is where Blood Dome actually appears around all three of them, and this is where they say, "Damn it!" They tried to punch through it. Mostly someone with pink hair right now sent a fire punch, but of course couldn't break through it, and say, "Damn it! Dad, help me!" This is where a fire spirit actually appears right now, trying to punch through the dome, which is not working. This is where, well, the reddish hair girl right now sends what's it called, this magic of destruction, and of course tries to break through, but of course it couldn't really break through. Only crack a little bit, then it got healed really fast. This is where the Kitsune did try to use her magic to try to break through, or mostly, yeah, magic. Well, it's another word for what's it called in the Land of Sun, but I don't remember what it's called. Chakra? Let me just call it chakra right now. Of course, I tried to use her chakra, but couldn't break through at all. Mostly managed to make a hole, a tiny hole, but it wasn't enough. Allison says, "No, you bastard, let go of them." This is where, well, Ackerman says, "No, now it's time for you, Where the hell did the human go?" This is where he gets punched in the stomach so hard. This is where he feels his body just rattle up. This is where he was launched backwards. Also says, "Sorry, no thanks. I'm not dying any damn time soon. If I died, then I feel like my brother would come back and somehow revive me just to kill me for the fact I died in the first time. So I won't be dying any damn time." So the vampire gets up and says, "Your magic is quite annoying. Darkness magic to nullify magic at all. And of course, whatever the hell that was in your fist." "Ah, no, neither. But it doesn't matter, does it?" This is where, well, the vampire gets up, and this is where, well, he uses his grimoire, and of course, this is where it has a diamond symbol, because, well, mostly it's not a diamond symbol, it has like that of a vampire symbol, but this is where, well, because all species have different kind of grimoires, but yeah, I'm gonna just say, this is where, well, the vampires send multiple, what's it called, like these bat kind of shape, mostly knives, trying to stab on Asta, which Asta managed to just dodge. He keeps easily dodging. You've seen that of Arbitration Hawking. This is where he's seeing the future and just easily dodging. This is where, well, the vampire say, "Die, you human! I won't let you get in my way. I will take back that gem. I will definitely use it to become the most powerful vampire. I won't let my little bratty niece or any of her stupid friends get in my way. I won't let some stupid human like you get in my way." This is where, well, Asta says, "You can say that I'm stupid, but I don't really care." This is where, well, Asta managed to keep jumping away, and this is where, well, Asta puts his hand right in front of him and says, "Darkness. Darkness pull." This is where, well, mostly, well, the person thought that mostly he was going to nullify the magic, which the person was about to just send, what's it called, just make spikes behind Asta, because, well, yeah, he won't probably have enough time. But this is where he actually instead gets pulled. This is where the vampire widened his eyes. This is where Asta right now puts his hand into being an earthquake bubble, adding more magic, and this is where he says, "Screw your shit." This is where, well, he punches this man so hard in the face, rattling everything in his bones in his body, probably cracking some of them, and right now punching him straight down to the ground. This is where the vampire, he lands into the ground, right now coughing up a little bit of blood, getting up, and saying, "You damn human." This is where he had to dodge. This is where he had to dodge a blood spear because they almost hit him. This is where he glares at the niece, mostly Allison. And Allison actually got scared a little bit, but this is where she just tried to get up, mostly get out of her kind of uncle's bloodlust. This is where, well, she can't because she's still fearing. This is where, well, her uncle says, "That's it, you little bitch. I'd rather kill you now." This is where, well, he makes a spear, but this is where he then tosses it straight towards his niece. And this is where, well, or not niece, mostly, yeah, niece? No. Prima. No, I just came. Mostly just niece entirely. And this is where, well, she closes her eyes in an instant. And this is where, before I even stab upon mostly, what's it called? Allison, this is where, well, Asta appears right now trying to use darkness magic to nullify the magic entirely. Of course, it wasn't fast enough to nullify all of it. And of course, he did manage to get stabbed in the stomach. This is where, well, the vampire grins, seeing how mostly this human did try to stop it, but of course, he added enough magic. So, of course, it still managed to pierce with a claw him. This is where, well, Allison says, "Why?" This is where, well, she was kind of gritting her teeth, wondering why the human just stopped the spear and didn't just let her die. Asta says, "Why? Probably because you're an idiot. You really can't get up from your grandfather's, uncle's, whatever bullshit he is to you. Why are you scared? Aren't you supposed to be the descendant of Dracula or whoever the fuck that person is?" Man, I did not read that many books and species, but whatever. Whoever the person was, he's also strong and powerful as a warrior. You should be the exact same. This is where Allison, she gets encouraged from Asta, even though, well, what's it called? Asta's a human, and she should really think high mighty, right? This is where, well, Asta isn't really thinking high mighty about himself, and she's not thinking high mighty about herself. This is where she has a little tint of blush when looking at Asta, and this is where, well, she gets up and says, "You're right." This is where, well, she right now activates her grimoire, and of course, it shows to be kind of a red book, but with these golden kind of like crescent symbols around it. This shows that she's actually a true descendant of Dracula, and of course her grimoire is much more powerful. Well, not powerful, mostly shown to be similar to Dracula. Of course, having a vampire symbol, but of course it has 3 other kind of vampire symbols. But yeah, this is where, well, she then kind of activates her kind of magic and says blood domain. Blood, what's it called? Golem. This is where, well, she makes a giant golem to try to attack Agwarin. Agwarin realized that he had to use a dodge, which he managed to dodge. That's where Asta, he managed to take the damn spear out of his stomach. And this is where Allison, "You idiot. You could just let the spear inside your stomach." Asta says, yeah. I should probably get myself serious also. This is where Allison was confused. This is where he then takes off his grimoire because, well, she realized one thing. He hasn't actually been fighting with the grimoire neither. This is where he activates his grimoire, and his grimoire does look like this. It's kind of darkness, it does have ripples in it, and it does have a 5-leaf clover symbol in it. This is where, well, he then says, "Darkness spears." This is where multiple darkness spears appear around him. This is where he says, "Target locked." This is where, well, he then uses a darkness target actually appear around, what's it called, mostly Agwarin. And Agwarin trying to get it off and wondering what the hell this does. And this is where he launches a spear straight toward Agwarin. And Agwarin says, "What the hell is this? Why isn't this getting off?" This is where, well, he tries to knock it off. This is where he realizes the spears are actually about to hit him. This is where he jumps away, but this is where the spears actually, instead of hitting the ground, they launch up. This is where, well, Agwarin realized that this target is basically an automatic target tracker. This is where, well, the spears are just going to keep chasing him, which he couldn't really dodge some of them, but of course some of them managed to hit him in the leg. This is where he's screaming in pain and saying, "You bastard!" This is where he also feels his magic being nullified in an instant. This is where, he grits his teeth and looks at Asta with such a dirty glare. Asta grins and says, "How you like that, you motherfucker? Doesn't feel too great, does it? Then again, you stabbed me right in the stomach, so this is payback, asshole." This is where, well, Asta is just grinning with such a mad grin. This is where Allison looks at this, and this is where she is kind of blushing and might have been accidentally falling in love for him, even though he's only human. And this is where Asta says, "Darkness style, darkness gravity domain. This is where a domain appears, mostly a darkness circle underneath, mostly Ackerman, who's right now up in the air. I should mention that he had wings. But yeah, he isn't just flying without wings, but yeah, he does have wings. And this is where, well, he feels, for some reason, heavier. This is where, well, he smashes to the ground in an instant. This is where, well, also is just adding darkness, and since darkness is some type of gravity pull, he does kind of smash the person down to the ground. Because he made a dome, a magic circle around what's it called, Everton. And of course it was large enough so it can actually have a gravity pull for what's it called, Everton. And it was pretty strong because Everton wasn't actually being able to get up. This is where Asta says, hey, you, vampire, Allison, right? Do something. Kill him or whatever, I don't care. Right now I'm trying to stop him from actually getting up any damn time. This is where, well, she nodded, and this is where, well, she then tries to make a sword in an instant, trying to think of some kind of sword or something that might help her. And this is where, well, she then thought of a sword in an instant. This is where, well, this is where the sword she created out of blood, and of course it does have a golden kind of color and handle and all this stuff. And of course it's called Yagato. This is where, or whatever the hell it's called. It's really hard to actually pronounce, but yeah. This is where she summons out, and of course this is where, well, the blade does have a powerful signature of color. This is where also, this is where the gem that she was holding, mostly the red gem that has the corrosive symbol on it, decides to flow into the sword. This is where making it much more powerful. She does seem to have blood magic, mostly, but yeah, because she does have blood magic. This is where she glares at the older man, which the older man saw the crescent gem go into the sword, and the sword does become much stronger and powerful. This is where, oh, and much more durable. This is where she says, let go of the gravity, mostly circle. Are you sure? Are you sure you'll be fast enough? Yes, I'll be fast enough. Be fine. Fine. This is where, well, he was about to let go of it, but this is where, just in case anything happens, he says, creation style, dual wielded darkness blades. This is where he makes two long kind of like darkness blades. He lets go of the magic circle. She's confused, but this is where she rushes still towards the call, mostly Arbiter. Arbiter says, I won't die! You stupid little bitch. You decide to use that gem into the sword. I'll destroy that sword and take the gem and then kill you and him. You stupid little whore. This is where, well, she was rushing straight towards the Arbiter. Arbiter appears right now in front of her. Right now, sending both of his hands down. And of course, where, well, he says, die! This is where Asta appears right in front of mostly what's it called? Allison and even Arbiter. But of course, Allison noticed that she wasn't going to be fast enough, but this is where Asta managed to cut both of his arms off. Do it now! Asta said it in an instant. Of course, in a very kind of commanding tone, which she then get enough strength, and this is where she swings the sword in an instant straight towards Arbiter's neck. Arbiter widened his eyes, seeing that the sword is actually about to cut his neck. This is where he says, I'm not dying! No! This is where he tries to use his hands to try to push the sword from actually fully cutting his neck. And this is where Asta says, damn it! Why won't you just die already? This is where Asta right now smashes both of his swords into the, what's it called, like, swords? Well, mostly into the sword named Yagato or whatever. And of course, the reason why the person still has his arms, I mean, he managed to use some kind of blood and lip machine from his body to try to attach his back. This is where he tries to block, what's it called, the sword from actually cutting his neck entirely. But it manages to cut through it. And this is where, well, mostly Arbiter saying, no, you bitch! This is where his body was turned into dust in an instant. This is where, well, Allison, she has a brief, or, well, mostly a sigh of happiness. This is where, well, Asta's right now pretty tired. He's like, damn, this motherfucker gonna die any damn time soon. Oh, I should mention he's still bleeding. Yeah, Asta was bleeding with the wound. This is where Asta feels like his body hurts a lot. Not from the fact that he had that many wounds, it's from the fact that, yeah. I should also mention that he did kind of get a huge scrape to the back. But yeah, from the spear in the beginning, but yeah. No one did really notice it, and no one really cared. Or they couldn't really see it. But yeah. Asta says, well, that hurt like a bitch. This is where Allison says, yeah, I'm sorry for keeping you. This is where Asta passes out. This is where the other species, mostly the other species, managed to get out of the blood domain. Or mostly the red dome. And of course, they were, well, they kind of rushed towards mostly Allison and even what's it called, Asta's side. to see if Allison's fine, and even Asta, or mostly whatever the human child's name. But yeah, this is where, well, we go into Asta. Asta's right now just sleeping. This is where he, mostly a bubble kind of pops in his face, and this is where he then says, huh? Oh shit, where the hell am I? What did I remember last time? Oh yeah, beating the shit of the older vampire. And wait, if I passed out, that means this is where I also say, if I pass out, that means oh no. This is where he gets up and looks towards the side and sees mostly Allison in her own bed. And this is where, well, some other species seems to be like looking at her and trying to see if she's fine. It seems to be some kind of green hair female with, of course, greenish eyes. And of course, where she's using her grimoire that seems to have just a circle and some dots. She seems to be a species of a slime or something. And she's right now using healing magic to see if Allison's fine. Allison says, I'm fine. Just check on the human. This is where the female looks at Allison and says, I can't believe you brought a human towards this place. Isn't humans usually here? Well, then, okay, I can never judge you. Fine, queen vampire, I'll go check on him. And this is where Asta, he's already trying to get out of the bed and trying to walk away, just trying to get his shit and like leave. And this is where, well, the slime goes cough, cough. You know, human, I've never seen actually a tough ass human like you literally take some hits from a vampire. Vampire is quite powerful and will be similar to that of almost demon level. And you were managing to take some hits from him. I'm quite impressed. This is where, well, Asta says, well, thank you. I might just need to leave because if I don't go, I'm gonna wonder, well, some of my squad mates might wonder where the fuck I went. So I might just be going. So yeah, I'll be going. Don't worry about me. Yeah, I'll be going. This is where Allison says no. This is where she appears grabbing his hand and says, no, you need to be healed. You took a very powerful scrape of a wound and then a stab in the stomach. You need to be healed. This is where Asta looks at her with just this look of, I'm fine. But yeah, this is where, well, Allison glares at him with this look of, you're not fine. Now stay. This is where Asta says, fine. This is where, well, for right now, I'm actually going to leave it off here. But yeah, Asta just sit on the bed, but whatever. But yeah, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato say potato, and good night. I did this for 1 hour and 12 minutes. I hope you motherfuckers like it. No, I'm just kidding. But other than that, bye.